My name is Latavia Robertson. I'm 10 years old. I'm a dancer and a rapper. And my favorite vegetable is chocolate.
A dancer and a rapper?
Uh-huh.
Favorite vegetable is chocolate?
Yep.
What kind of boys do you like?
Boys.
Boys.
Cute.
That's it? No brains, just cute.
Ones that want to get an education.
Oh, very good. Boy, you should enter a beauty pageant or something, huh?
I'm the second lead vocalist of the group, and that's about it. I'm Latavia. I sing the bottom, and I'm also the spokesperson of the group. And I guess I'm what everyone calls the diva. Miss Sassy Lassie. I say I'm real with you. If someone does something like they say something that's completely out of line, I'll be like, hey, why you say that? It was uncalled for. You need to go. This, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a mean person at all. No. I think that people expect me to be mean because I'm a Scorpio. But actually, I'm kind of sensitive, y'all, on the real.
So today we will be exploring when a destiny swap has succeeded through the story of Latavia Robertson, who was well known as a former Destiny's Child member, original member at that. And yes, I will give a trigger warning because this might be very hard to listen to because it is not a story that has a happy ending. So as I was doing my research, I came across a woman who said something that really resonated with me. She said, women don't compete. They compare, they remove their competition, but they don't compete. This can also be seen through the story of Latavia. Latavia Robertson was born on November the 1st, 1981 in Houston, Texas. She had an eye for the spotlight as a young girl. Her mother signed her with a kids talent agency where she did modeling, press ads, and more. Her first big break on TV was an appearance she did on a Just For Me advertisement. Pretty soon, she would be on every Kitty Pam box on every store. She began to rap for the official Just For Me ad. In addition to the opportunity she had already been presented with, she was also presented with an opportunity to audition for a girl group for young girls with talent. It is through this audition that young Latavia met Beyonce Knowles. On this day, Latavia landed a spot in the girl group as a dancer, and Beyonce landed her spot as a singer, and the two became instant best friends. Beyonce was shy and didn't have many friends, while Latavia was confident and stood up for her friend very often. Since Latavia was the original member of the group, she was tasked with finding other girls to join the group. This is when Latavia recruited her two cousins. At this time, they were managed by Andrea Tillman. I want to highlight how Kelly Rowland was Latavia's close friend at the beginning of Destiny's Child and didn't really know Beyonce. Kelly joined the singing group after Latavia heard Kelly sing I'm Your Baby Tonight by Whitney Houston. Kelly would eventually stay with Latavia's extended family, as opposed to what Beyonce and her family have propagated in the media. Latavia's two cousins auditioned and made it to the girl group. Latavia was the more accomplished star of all the girls, and she was responsible for the semblance of the members of the group. She was the center that held everyone together. Each girl had a relationship with her. That's why they were there to begin with. But like any other Scorpio, I know life was not going to be that simple for her. Scorpio natives are one of the most traumatized individuals by life. Scorpio is all about transitioning and transformation, death, and rebirth. This could be psychological, spiritual, or even physical death, where they lose a lot in this lifetime and they really consistently have to start afresh. Now, the girls were managed by Miss Tillman. and the group participated in a talent show, Star Search, where they came in second. As soon as Matthew Knowles realized after Star Search the star power the group had, he wanted to take over from Miss Tillman, even threatening to ruin the group as Miss Tillman was against this. Matthew is a Capricorn, and let me just say he has the capacity to do it, and Beyonce's mother is also a Capricorn, which doesn't help the case. For context, in tarot, Capricorns represent the devil. Its most unrevolved self. Miss Tillman was eventually diagnosed with cancer and later on died, leaving Matthew in charge. Now, this is when they took a turn for the worse. A few years passed and the girls were now teenagers, and Latavia's light and gifts were shining very brightly, and she remained the star of the group. Now, before I continue, I want to stress to parents, children can be hated on by adults, and those same adults might try to dim or steal your child's light for themselves or their own child, and I believe this was Latavia's story. Latavia grew into a beautiful young woman, mostly known as the short and curvy cutie with splendid and sexy eyes, with her red signature hairstyle and her undeniable swag that many tried to emulate. She had an old soul, and while all the members of the group carried themselves with poise and class, Latavia was the most confident when speaking, being very articulate and authoritative while maintaining a Texas accent. Whenever she spoke, it was like she was telling a story, so she became the official spokesperson of the group, often speaking first in interviews, and from the first award Destiny's Child won, she gave the acceptance speech.
We really didn't expect that, being in a category with such wonderful artists. So first of all, we want to give all praises to our Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ. Thank you. We want to give thanks to our parents at home who have stuck by us through this long, hard journey. We want to thank Sony and everybody who's worked so hard for us. We want to thank our management, Music World Management. We want to thank everybody out there who has supported Destiny's Child. We want to say we love y'all, and this award is for y'all. God bless you all.
Praises to God. We had a dream, and we just kept believing in ourselves and kept asking God to help us see it through, and it happened. I hold the bottom. I add the low tones to the group. Was blind, but now I see. I know he said that I am assuming things. Shouldn't be no reason why you acting strange. 'Cause I know how you used to do. Why can't you just tell the truth?
This inspired a lot of jealousy in one particular group member. She also used her charisma to be the group's hype man in songs.
Hey, yo, back to the girl with all the razzmatazz.
Yo, I love you, short.
You talking all that jazz. Boy, I love you, but I gotta let you go. In order to keep me, this is what you gotta do. You gotta look at the bigger picture and what you need to do. Oh, baby, where'd you go? I need you back with me. Oh, baby, where'd you go? I need you back with me.
Also, as the group moved from city to city, management needed someone to chaperone the girls. Latavia's mother stepped into the role. The group got an acting gig where she shined the most in this role as an actress as well.
Huddle up, y'all. I got a banging idea.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute before you uh-oh me, Miss Thing. I was thinking maybe we should scrap this whole street dancer idea and put that little kid in our video.
You want to put me in your video?
Yeah, we'll do the entire number with just you.
I had the biggest crush on Latavia the whole time.
Matthew put the girls on the importance of writing their own music, each member creating their own music rights management company. Latavia is being called Latavia's Music Company. On the second album, Writings on the Wall, Latavia wrote 8 out of the 16 tracks, contrary to what Beyonce has claimed in the past. As the years went by, Latavia and Latoya had been noticing that funds were always tight, but Beyonce and Kelly were, however, always rolling in the newest cars. Matthew clearly started exploiting Latoya and Latavia, which affected the girls' friendship. Suddenly, Latavia realized her inputs were being disregarded and she was being treated like a placeholder and not the original member and big contributor that she was. This is part of when he was trying to make her feel less than she was, so she doesn't see her own light and power. Matthew was directing all the opportunities coming into Destiny's Child towards Beyonce and Kelly. This was a form of energy harvesting on Matthew's part because he would use Latavia's energy in a form of her charisma, speaking charisma, songwriting skills, dancing skills, and star power as a whole to attract fans, sponsors, and opportunities, only to give them to his own daughter, which with very little contribution from Beyonce.
Beyonce produced a majority of the vocals on the album, and if you notice when you listen to the album that the vocals are more in your face this time, and it's tight, and it's all because Beyonce hooked it up.
Yes, I did. I wrote Survivor along with about 10 other songs on the album, and it's really great that I got a chance to write on this album. I also wrote Independent Woman and Jumpin', so
Latavia and Latoya demanded to see the group's financial statements and workings. Matthew would refuse, which led to Latavia and Latoya deciding to change management. And like any well-oiled system, whether good or bad, any threat to the established system will be attacked as an effort to self-preserve by the system. This is what happened. Matthew was exploiting some of the girls, and this was a system he had established since the girls were young, from the age of 8. As the girls grew older, they realized it. They stood up for themselves, and as a punishment, they got sidelined. Matthew was fine with Latoya and Latavia when they were still allowing him to use their energy signatures for his and Beyonce's benefit. But as soon as they defended themselves or stood up for themselves, he wanted to punish them for it.
Tommy and Latoya's attorney walked in. He gave me a letter to read, and it says, "I'm disaffirming our personal management agreement."
The paper said that we are not by any means quitting the group. Right. We're ready, willing, and able to fulfill our duties to Destiny's Child and Columbia Records. That is a quote from the letter.
As a manager, it's some things that you're supposed to do for your client, and that just wasn't going on.
So as soon as Matthew realized that the girls were serious about wanting to change management and wanting the financial transparency, he sent messages to the girls that Destiny's Child was taking a break. Meanwhile, Beyonce and Kelly continued secretly working and making appearances. This is very common in destiny swapping, being sidelined for refusing to be used by the person trying to destiny swap with you. This is in an effort to force you to participate in your own crucifixion. Matthew used Beyonce and Kelly's secret public appearances as proof to show the record label that Beyonce and Kelly were hard workers and that Latoya and Latavia weren't. All the while he was setting everything up in the background. This is when Beyonce started being positioned by her father as the new star of the group, energetically taking Latavia's place. Basically, this is when the swap began. So this far, Matthew had successfully intertwined Beyonce and Latavia's destinies, and he was at a point where he wanted to steal Latavia's destiny for Beyonce, since Latavia was now going against his plans. When Matthew went to tell the record label Latavia and Latoya were being lazy and unruly, this was a form of gossip, of course, with higher stakes in this case, where he was energy swapping and wanted the business side of the music industry to regard Latoya and Latavia as difficult to work with, while Beyonce and Kelly are hard workers and pleasant to work with, ultimately resulting in less opportunities for Latavia and Latoya and more opportunities for Beyonce and Kelly. All the while, Latavia's star power and energy is what got the group to where it is.
A weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices all night divine.
After Matthew approached the record label, soon after that the girls were fired and replaced. Beyonce and Kelly went on a public rampage, bullying Latavia about her singing on interviews and their songs. Beyonce and Kelly slandered the former Destiny's Child members, saying Latavia couldn't sing and was tone deaf, and all the other members were lazy. Latoya fired back, stating they weren't lazy. Matthew just liked to fire people whenever they weren't down with his plan. Which, yeah, I believe.
Two of the ladies decided that they wanted to fire my father as a manager without ever discussing it with us. We got a letter one day, and we were performing the day before together. So it was devastating to Kelly and I. They were very, very aware of everything before it was done.
I want to clear it up to everybody out there who doesn't know. But Latoya and I, we never quit the group.
Never even said anything about quitting the group.
Insist to us that they've got love for you guys. They do not have hard feelings for you. Their issue is with management and not with the two of you.
Well, they slapped a nice lawsuit on us.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot of love.
That's some hard love, isn't it?
So the real problem was that one of your ex-members had an ear problem, so she sang out of key. And
She didn't have an ear problem.
No, she didn't have an ear problem.
We don't want to talk about them anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody said something was wrong with her ear. Okay, let me say another. It feels good that everybody can sing lead now, and we all get along. The camaraderie is there, the bond is there, the support system is there, and this is the best Destiny's Child that God has ever created. Kelly and I were the only ones that sang in the studio, not by choice, but so it was no different. And the amount they sang on "Say My Name" was so small, if it was taken off, you would not know the difference between the one song and the other one.
Right.
The songs are a lot better. Our magic on stage is a lot better. We sing a lot better. Everybody gets to sing lead now because everybody can sing lead. So it's just really a blessing.
All of the bad seeds are now out of Destiny's Child. We've had changes in the group, and we finally found the recipe that is perfect.
This is Destiny's Child forever and ever and ever.
I saw Latavia in the mall one day, but let's cut that over. Don't say it now. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
At this point, Latavia was already fired from Destiny's Child, so one might ask, why continue bullying her? This is to make sure everyone in the industry thinks she is so untalented, hard to work with, and she was better. but also it's a form of brainwashing for Latavia for her to consistently hear how untalented and unworthy she was until she started to believe it herself. It's that consistent, suggestive energy being sent her way. And it is, of course, defamation that goes with the destiny swapping. Latoya and Latavia moved on to start their own music group called Angel Dust, but unfortunately their record label got disillusioned before they could release any music. The dissolution of the record label was very sudden, which I believe Beyonce and Matthew were behind it all. Remember, one destiny cannot serve two lives. So for the swap to work, the person whose destiny has been stolen needs to have their energy frequency down and in the pits for their destiny to work for the swap. So if the person who is been stolen from is also still motivated to work hard to chase their dreams, then that means the swap fails. But as soon as you start giving up and just losing hope in life, that's when the swap works for the swap. Destiny's Child's first award win after Latavia and Latoya were kicked out was at the 2001 Grammy Awards. And guess who gave the acceptance speech? Beyonce. That's her stepping into Latavia's place again in every way. Like she was there to replace her in her energy. After the disband of her new group, Angel, the pressure got the better of Latavia and the trauma from her childhood was rearing its ugly head for some time, and she had no work obligations at this point to distract her. She revealed later in life that her parents divorced when she was just 3 years old and that she had a strained relationship with her father, which left her feeling abandoned. Her mother remarried, and for years her stepfather had been inappropriately touching her, and this went on for years before she could tell anyone. She was often misunderstood and treated like the problem child, so when she finally did reveal what was happening to her, some people didn't believe her, which led to a lot of resentment and feeling unprotected. On Destiny's Child's 2001 album Survivor, there was a song the girls recorded called The Story of Beauty, which was about a young girl who was taken advantage of by her stepfather. The story was eerily similar to Latavia's story. Remember, I told you guys on the first video that Destiny Swappers will attack your traumas and to re-traumatize you and keep you in a debilitated state of being and keep you in the energy of depression and sorrow as they drive off into the sunset with your gifts and blessings. At this point, Latavia felt abandoned by so many people in her life, by her childhood friends and group members, by her mother, and by the people that were meant to support her. She turned to substance abuse and would sabotage every opportunity that came her way. And at this point, she had sunken into a deep depression. Now, this was gold for Beyonce, the swapper, because when you give up on yourself, you energetically go into agreement with the swap. It's worth pointing out that Beyonce, being from Texas, meant she was someone who was very familiar with root magic, witchcraft. A few years ago, Beyonce's friend for years and was also who was also her drummer for years, opened a lawsuit against Beyonce accusing her of extreme witchcraft and spiritual stalking. This, I believe, is what she put Latavia through as well.
Nia Wesley is in the house. Nia, what is going on?
Guys, I cannot make this stuff up. Beyonce's ex-drummer of 7 years, she is seeking a restraining order against Beyonce. She's accusing her of dark magic, witchcraft, tapping into her phone bill, and basically controlling her finances, harassing her. She's saying the Beyonce camp is put up a huge harassment campaign against her, and it's overall witchcraft. She sought a restraining order in the past. It got denied, and she has another one scheduled for October 11th.
Latavia had a hard time after she got kicked out of Destiny's Child and her own group, Angel Dust, didn't work out. She had plans to release her own music to jumpstart her solo career. She made music with popular producers such as Sweets Beats, Andre 3000, Polo the Down. However, these plans never came to fruition, and her solo career would never take off. She fell into a deeper depression and substance abuse over the years. Latavia made a number of appearances on reality shows such as Boulevard of Broken Dreams and Real Housewives of Atlanta before becoming the main cast member of R&B Divas. She also had insecurities about her voice, so she went on to different business ventures such as sports management, tech, and a few more. A few years later, she had a daughter. A few years after that, she would suffer the loss of her daughter during her second pregnancy. She escaped death a number of times, not because of an overdose, but because of driving under the influence, coming out of very horrific accidents with very few scars.
I've always thought about doing a one-woman show. Your story is amazing. Heartbreak, the rise, the fall, and the comeback. All we gotta do now is just put everything into motion. So that I can help you, I want you to tell me who you think that you are, who you know yourself to be. You know, I got that audition for the group the same day that Beyonce was there. It was something great that happened. We had sold over 20 million records, 2 Grammys. It was the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to me. Obviously, the story goes wrong somewhere. I was told by somebody in the group, you know, you don't even do enough in this group to even have an opinion. From there, you were basically just fired. Pretty much. That had to be devastating. It was very devastating. I can't even imagine it. It was like a marriage that it went wrong. Before I knew it, I was just trying to numb so much stuff, drinking all day, every day. I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror. I got a DWI. I went to jail for Hatra. I thought I was gonna die. It was one of the most horrible experiences of my life. Thank you. I didn't come here to cry. I didn't either. I'm just tired of being where I've been. I know with the right opportunity, you're gonna come back. I mean, you just a diamond in the rough.
Beyonce went on to have a huge solo career after the swap succeeded. She became the world's biggest superstar since the Destiny swap. In 2011, Beyonce was given the prestigious Artist of the Millennium Award, and in her acceptance speech, Latoya and Latavia were amongst the people she thanked.
I'd like to thank Kelly and Michelle from Destiny's Child. I wouldn't be standing on the stage if it wasn't for y'all. I'd also like to thank the original members of Destiny's Child, Latoya Luckett and Latavia Robertson.
This was to antagonize Latavia and Latoya, and this is very common in Destiny swaps that have succeeded. The swapper isn't just happy with having your destiny, they also want you to witness your suffering, and they also want you to see them succeed in the destiny you know was yours. That's part of the thrill and the sadistic satisfaction that they get from the Destiny swap. This is the story of Latavia Robertson. I hope you enjoyed, and most importantly, you learned a thing or two. Stay tuned. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.